This might be the least hidden gem out there. As long as people have been generating clickbait lists about NES games, the Guardian Legend was always mentioned as one of the hidden gems. At some point, you'd think that after everyone keeps saying, hey, this is a really great game, that it would stop being a hidden gem and just a gem. In Japan, it's Guardic Gaiden, or Guardic spin-off if you like, and as you might expect from that title, it's a spin-off from the MSX game Guardic. That MSX game has you wandering corridors and getting into single-screen shooter battles. Guardic Gaiden takes that basic concept and fleshes everything out. The game was developed by Compile, who haven't had the best showing on the Famicom so far. They're one of the all-time greats when it comes to shoot-'em-ups, though, and they're finally getting their chance to shine here. Guardic Gaiden is half shoot-'em-up, half overhead maze exploration. It's a bit similar in that respect to their Golvelius, which was released for the Master System the year before. In fact, Guardic Gaiden uses some of the music from Golvelius. In Guardic Gaiden, an ancient planet-sized war machine is on collision course with Earth. The only way to stop it is to disconnect 10 failsafes that are inside the planet, and so the Earth sends a cybernetic warrior woman up to do that. The game starts with you shooting your way into the planet. While this first stage isn't hard, it does demonstrate the high-speed action that Compile managed to get out of even marginal systems. In Guardic Gaiden's case, they used a trick with a sound channel to interrupt drawing on the screen. It sped up the graphics processing a lot, but this exploit wouldn't work in a system where, say, the Famicom disk system was always hooked up. That's impossible normally, but the twin Famicom is the Famicom and the disk system merged into one, and so Guardic Gaiden has extreme slowdown when played on those systems. After you blow up one of Compile's trademark base bosses, you enter the planet itself, and the game changes into this overhead maze that kind of resembles The Legend of Zelda. Here you need to explore and look for additional weapons and upgrades, as well as paths and keys that will take you to the rest of the planet. When you enter a room and hear a siren sound, the room's about to close itself up and release a mini-boss. Typically, defeating the mini-boss will get you a special item. Important things to keep an eye out as you explore are these bricks that can be shot to reveal tunnels. If there's a symbol on them, you have to have the matching key. These chambers are passageways to shoot-'em-up levels, and you always have to do something special to open up the hatch in the middle of the room. For this first one, you just have to shoot it a lot. Beating the shoot-'em-up segment, or corridor as the games call them, gets you an item. Keys to a new section are always in the shoot-'em-up areas. Then there are the weapons. Since this is a Compile game, there's an absolutely enormous collection of weaponry to use. You press the Start button to bring up a menu, select your weapon, and then you can fire it when you press the A button. All weapon shots use up chips, and when you're fighting, sometimes when you destroy something like an enemy or one of their shots, a capsule will appear. The red and blue circles refill your chips. They also recover a small amount of life. The heart recovers a lot of life, and this machine refills your life entirely. Besides finding weapons just laying around, there's also shops in the game. You can spend chips to buy additional weaponry. You're going to sometimes see that there are duplicates. This is not a problem, because getting additional copies of a weapon makes that weapon stronger. It also makes it cost more, but that's the price you pay for it being effective. With the weapons, I'd have to say you need to try them out for yourself. They're all useful, but there's a lot of variation in the circumstance where you'd want to use it. Like these tough eyes that appear out of the ground on this shooting segment. They'll keep going forever unless I destroy them, and they do a ton of damage to me if I collide with them. So I equip a big gun that shoots forward and hit them with that. These spiders duplicate every few seconds and can quickly overwhelm you, so to deal with that I activated a weapon that dealt damage to everything around me. There's one problem I have with the weapon system in Guardic Gaiden, and that's how the levels of your primary gun work. Your gun increases in strength every few hundred chips that you possess. And at the start of the game, you can only have 50 chips maximum. But find the red version of Compile's logo, and you go up a level, which increases your health bar and the maximum number of chips you can hold. At the second level, your maximum number of chips is 100. The threshold for increasing the firepower of your gun is 100 chips. So using any of your sub-weapons at that point downgrades your primary gun. The same problem occurs at 200 chips. What I'd rather they have done is make the threshold 51. That would make the trade-offs more difficult, and you could actually use your sub-weapons early on. There's one other major problem I have with Guardic Gaiden, and that's that you have no invincibility frames. Some enemies have a bad tendency to park on top of you, and you can just watch your life bar melt away. It's especially bad with fast-moving bosses that bounce around the screen. Guardic Gaiden is a large game. There's around 11 major areas to explore, and each of those have multiple shoot-'em-up levels. Fortunately, there is a password system. These rooms are where you continue from when you get a game over, and if you have no special weapon equipped while you're in there, and hit the special weapon button, then it brings up a password. Guardic Gaiden is one of my favorite games on the Famicom. It's got some problems, like I wish there was a bigger variety of enemies, and it might go a bit too long. I still enjoy it a lot though. It even has one of my favorite boxes on the system. In Japan, it's not extremely popular, but it's still well known among Famicom fans. I guess you could call it a hidden gem.